Hey guys, if you're watching this, I'm going to show you how to basically make it look like you just came out of an exorcism. The first thing I'm doing here is just taking a very fair colored foundation and applying it all over my face so that I look paler. I'm going for a bruised eye look, so I'm just taking a very dark purple and kind of using it to bring out the bags under my eyes. So now I'm just using a smaller brush and I'm using a bit of red to go around my eyes so that they look swollen and puffy. I'm using red lipstick for this because I feel like it blends better. I'm going in around my eyes with a bit of that red to blend in the purple and kind of make my eyes look more irritated. And now I'm just blending with my fingers so that the edges don't look so sharp. So now I'm going in again with that red lipstick and I'm using it to blur the outlines of my lips so that I look kind of sickly. And then I'm just going over that with a bit of that fair colored foundation to blend it into my skin. This is definitely the hardest part of the entire process just because scar wax is so hard to deal with because it's so sticky. But what I did is I just coated my fingers with the layer of makeup remover, and then I found that that made it so much easier to handle the wax. So then I just scooped it out with a butter knife, and then I would roll it in between my fingers, and then I would place it in the shape of a circle on my forehead. I had to do this so many times to get it right, which is why you can see that weird goo on my forehead. It's just like the scraps of what I tried to do. I'm using a butter knife for the entire section of this video where I'm blending the wax into my forehead, which is probably unsafe, but I don't have a palette knife, so we're just gonna go with it and say it follows the demon sinister theme of my video. It's easier to go through all these steps if you constantly wet your knife with makeup remover because it won't stick to the wax so much. And even so, at this point, I actually used too much wax, so I started to take it out because I realized when I blended it into my forehead it was getting bumpy. So just try not to use too much, use just enough, and then blend it into your skin so that you have a very thin layer. So now you can take the blunt end of your butter knife and use it to start tracing an outline on your face. If you use a sharp knife, you might be able to skip the fake blood step at the end. If you're a mother and you're watching this, that was just a joke. I don't want any crazy stories in the comments about how I'm getting fined for encouraging criminal activity or anything like that. I'm just taking a bit of this rolled up wax and I'm making it into the shape of a star. That way I can just blend that into my forehead and I will outline it just like I did with the circle. And now, because in the process of me trying to make this freaking pentagram, I wiped off all the makeup on my forehead, I'm just going to go over that with a bit of that pale foundation to blend it into my skin again. So now to decorate our little pentagram, I'm going to go around it with a bit of that red lipstick to make it look like irritated skin. So now I'm just taking a really tiny brush and some of that dark purple that I used around my eyes earlier, and I'm using it along the edges of the star to make it look bruised, nasty, give it kind of like this disgusting look. Like this isn't cute. You wouldn't go to a party with this. Now I'm using a spoolie brush, which I dipped in foundation to lighten up my eyebrows and kind of get that bleached eyebrow look. I'm using baby powder to set my face and take away from some of that greasiness and shininess that comes with the very inexpensive foundation that I'm using right now. Because on my makeup channel, we'll be doing makeup on a budget, at least until I can find someone to sponsor me. For this next step, I'm just going to be using some foundation and putting it all over my chest so that I look pale. Here I have a makeup wipe and I'm using it to clear little holes all along my chest. I'm doing 6 of them, and I'm doing this because I'm going to put wax on them, and if there's foundation, the wax won't stick. I'm using the butter knife to blend half of the pebbles so that it looks like the rest is sticking out of my skin. Now I'm going to get started on the neck contouring. This is a really important part because it's basically what makes me look famished and ill. I'm using dark purple to create shadows all around my collarbones, and then I'm using a lighter pink to blend it into my skin. I've just now realized that I've been using the same 3 colors for the entire length of this video, and I'm starting to think that there should be like an annual makeup award for like a makeup artist that can come up with the most uses for one color, like a game show. I feel like that would be really fun. Now I've taken some fuchsia eyeshadow and I'm just dabbing it all over my chest with my brush to make it look like I have some kind of infection or like I have some disease, like maybe like chicken pox or something like that. I don't really know what I'm drawing on my neck right now. Probably the best way I can describe it is that it looks sort of like the underside of a caterpillar. And now for my facial contouring, I'm going to be giving myself some hollowed out cheeks. Am I the only one that kind of thinks I look like Lady Gaga from this angle? Now I'm going to start doing a bunch of little details like coloring in my ear, and I'm also going to be doing this thing on my jawline that makes my chin pop out more, and up on top I'm going to be doing some spikes that just kind of give you something more to look at. For this step I'm using a Mayron product called Stage Blood, and I'm just using a tiny brush to fill in the outline that we originally made with the butter knife. I'm doing the same thing here that I did on my chest, which is just taking that fuchsia eyeshadow and like drawing dots all over myself so I look sickly, and then now I'm taking a thin brush with some dark purple and I'm using it to draw tiny veins coming out of my eyes. Now I'm getting started on my nose contouring. I wanted to do something really strange, so I made my nose into a kind of diamond shape. Now for the finishing touches, I'm just taking some of this blood and I'm applying it to the pebbles. And I really like this blood because 1, it doesn't dry, and 2, a little bit really goes a long way with this stuff. I remember being so exhausted by the time I got to this point in the video. I started at 2 AM and by the time I finished, the daylight was streaming through my window. Look at me, I'm not even trying to look dead, that's a sad part. If you reached this part of the video, then I just want to thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, then follow me on Instagram where I post all kinds of crazy makeup things. It's on the top right corner of the screen. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be posting something cool pretty soon. I'm fairly new to YouTube. I've only ever posted 2 other tutorials, but I'd love to get bigger and get better, and the only way I can do that is with views. So thank you for watching, and I will see you for my next tutorial.